Welcome back to week 4 of grade 4, unit 3, structure, function, and information processing. Last week we looked at the structure of plants as well as plant cells. This week we're going to shift our focus to animals, and you'll be exploring some of the different structures of animals, whether those be internally or externally. And internally would be on the inside, externally would be on the outside. The first thing that I want you to do is create a Google slideshow that's going to be titled Animal Structures. And this is where you're going to house all the information that you learned this week. Then you're going to log into Discovery Education and make sure that's the Waukesha Discovery Education site and use your username and password. And you're going to watch the 3 short videos that you see to the right here. The first one is called the Exoskeleton, the second is called Invertebrate, and the third is called Vertebrate. And these are going to talk about different structures that help with animals. If you need to watch them more than once, make sure you do that because they are very short. They're right around 30 seconds. The first one's 30 seconds, and the second 2 are going to be 3 minutes. So they're very short, quick, and to the point to help you. Then, using some of that information, you're going to create that Google presentation, and be sure to include in it a title page, a slide about vertebrates, answering the questions: what is a vertebrae? How does the concept of a vertebrae help in its own survival? Make sure you place a picture of at least 2 different animals that are vertebrate animals. You should also have a slide about invertebrates. So with that, you're going to tell me what an invertebrate is, how does that help in survival, and then also make sure to place a couple pictures of animals that are invertebrates. And lastly, a slide about exoskeletons. And I want you to describe how exoskeletons help animals, how they're different than most animals, and make sure again to include a couple pictures of some animals that have exoskeletons. Should be pretty easy for you to find on Google. Then what I'm going to have you do for your week 4 literacy connection is make sure that you have your animal notes open from last week as well as your animal paper, and these should all be set up and ready to go. And at this point, you should be transferring some of your notes from your matrix onto your paper. So you should be starting to list some of those facts that can go into different sections. This week, you'll be writing about, you'll be writing your adaptations paragraph as well as your animal paragraph. Remember, your animal is one that you selected early in the unit here. In your adaptations paragraph, which should be 7 to 10 sentences at the longest, be sure to include what the definition of an adaptation is, and make sure to talk about physical and behavioral adaptations. So those are 2 different things. So I would try to break it into 4 or 5 sentences each. In your animal paragraph, which is the next paragraph, which should be 12 to 15 sentences, make sure that you include what your animal looks like, where your animal lives, how your animal interacts with its habitat, and when you're writing that, remember to create flow. So you're not going to make it very choppy. This should be a well thought out 4 to 5 sentences per question. Make sure as you write these sections that you're proofreading as you go and including facts from the sources that you used. Make sure that you're elaborating upon those facts in your own words.